It's an honor for me to introduce you today to the newest member of our machine family. It's called Machine Jam, and you can see it right behind me here on this beautiful screen. Machine Jam gives us a new perspective on our renowned machine software, which is running here on my computer. Little info, it's the upcoming 2.5 version of the software. So no new things are needed to make this thing run. And there are several ways of using Machine Jam. First of all, you can just use it like it is, the hardware together with the software running on your laptop in a standalone way. The second way of using it would be to connect any other kind of machine with it, and they would be married right away and be synced on the same groups, and so you get the opportunity to realize various workflows, connect a micro, connect the MK2 or even a studio, and each of these solutions gives you another approach, another perspective on machine. You could also say, hey, I work in other environments, Ableton, Logic, Cubase, whatever, and you could use Machine Jam as a plugin. Just plug it in as VST, AU, or AAX plugin for Pro Tools users, and you will be set up right away. And last but not least, you can even use it as a universal MIDI controller for other DAWs. There's a very, very nice Ableton template that comes included that allows you to control this very nicely here from Jam. So let's take a look at the layout here. It's a lot of buttons, a lot of LEDs, so let me guide you a little bit through. We see two different separate parts here in Machine Jam. The first one is this huge, colorful 8x8 click pad matrix. This allows me to launch patterns in Machine, but also to step sequence, as we are going to see in the course of my presentation. The second part down here is a very powerful smart strip section of Machine Jam. Smart strip because those strips can do more than just using it for levels or something. So I will give you a couple of ideas and infos on those strips as well. To understand this a little bit better is to actually take a look at it as a channel strip unit. It's a little bit like on a mixer, right? It's a lot of channels, but in the end you realize, hey, it's only one channel strip times 8 or times 128 if you have a huge SSL console. So here in Machine Jam we have these 8 channel strips, and each of them is representing a musical element. So please pay your attention to the first vertical column here, because there is a little massive synthesizer included, and I programmed a little bass line or some bass line patterns. I could activate a pattern by doing this here. And now you would hear that thing running. Go to another one. Right. Now that I've selected a pattern, I can just go down to the strip section and start modulating this element. So first of all, I can press the level button, and then the strip is a volume fader. Who have thought of this? Shift level brings me to a panning section where I can go left and right. I could have access directly to my macros in Machine if I would have aux reverbs. I could also turn the reverb on at any time, and there's even a control mode that lets you access all the machine parameters that you would usually see on your 8 encoders on the normal machine. Each of these things can be automated right away, holding the auto button and then using that strip. You would see a curve. It's a traditional machine thing, with the only difference that you see the movements here on the touch strip as well. So please feel free to check it out on the stations over here later on. On the left-hand side, we had all these everyday bread and butter functions, level, panning, aux, but very interesting is the right-hand side. Here's where the new stuff is happening. And one new thing in Machine Jam and also in the machine world is the perform effects. This is a whole new category of effects that are programmed especially with having the touch strips in mind. So the special thing about it and the big benefit is the effect can be activated as soon as I touch the strip, and then I can use the finger to change the color or the intensity of the effect, and as soon as I let go of the strip, the effect will be vanishing again, and I don't have to bother about it anymore. So let's check this out. And gone. There are a couple of algorithms in here. Shift Perform opens up a little on-screen overlay here on the laptop screen, and this allows me to choose between several algorithms. There's a filter algorithm, a flanger, a very nice Rezo echo, a stutter effect that sounds like this. So it's very intelligently mapped over here on the strip, and one of my favorites is the scratcher, because this allows me to break down every group in Machine, like this, and scratch it right away. This is cool with thank you. Come on, it was a baby scratch. It was a baby scratch. You can use this not only with drums, but with synthesizers. People like Diplo and Cashmere Cat are using this all the time. So those perform effects, they really add something, and they make the patterns come alive. And I'd like to give you a little demonstration of what you can do by only selecting patterns and scenes and using the touch strips at the same time. 2, 3, 4. It is very, very exciting to use these strips at any point and not actually to think too much about it. So this is where the strength in these touch strips lies, actually. So you've seen a couple of functions here on the Smart Strip. One special button is this one here. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's called Lock. And the Lock button works with any other function over here. So as a Machine Jam user, you would be tweaking touch strips all the time, changing levels, doing this, doing that. And as a safety net, there is the lock mode included. So what it does, after pressing this button, it will take a little snapshot of my project, and then I can destroy everything, and I can change the levels, I can bring in effects and whatever, and when I feel the time is right, I just hit the lock button once again, and it will bring me back to where I left off. So it's a very, very exciting feature, and in the release version, we see also the possibility of taking 64 various snapshots of your project. So that actually implies a whole new form of arranging in Machine. You could only be in one scene and then use snapshots to come up with an arrangement. Please feel free to check it out later on here. So you might wonder now, where are all these loops coming from? Do I really need a traditional machine to create these patterns? No, of course, there is a little mini machine integrated inside of Machine Jam. So by the push of a button, I can actually transform this 8x8 matrix over here into a little 4x4 mini machine, I call it. And this allows me to audition and play sounds right away. Like this, I could hit record and then, like on any other machine, record these things right away. But the big benefit of Machine Jam is that we see actually the step sequencer at the same time as the mini machine. Now check this out. I selected the bass kick and we have a red color over here, and I can punch in, and now this is going back to what Gösta said, I can punch in some notes. And go to the snare drum and record the snare drum. Or I can also take the fast lane. By holding down step, Machine Jam gives me 3 options: the 1 sound mode, the 4 sound mode, and the 8 sound mode. Activating the 4 sound mode will change the layout into this kind of thing. So each of the 2 lines are now occupied by one individual sound, and this allows me to come up with patterns faster than ever before. like this. It's 4 sounds within 5 seconds. Let's create a new pattern. Go back to the step sequencer and add some notes. So it's really easy, and it's much more convenient to work with 4 sounds than with 1 sound only. So it's almost like having a drum kit in a step sequencer in here. That works for drums, but it also works for melodies. So in this group, I have a little absinthe, I guess it is, and I could use even the keyboard mode in here that some of you might be familiar with from the machine world. But I'd rather go to the piano roll step sequencer that I just mentioned. In the piano roll step sequencer, you would see the time on the horizontal axis and the pitch on the vertical axis. It's almost the same thing like in these play punch pianos. So let's take a look at this. And because it's jam, I can use the strips at any point to break it down again. Now you've witnessed and learned about all the traditional ways of inputting notes into machine. We've seen the little mini machine, we've seen a step sequencer that can be extended even to 8 sounds if you want, and the keyboard mode piano roll. There's one little secret, because for the first time in Native Instruments history, we are using the strips not only to control levels or pitch bending like on the keyboard, or in Traktor we would use it to change the location of the play marker in a song. No, we can use it to play notes from the strips. So by using the note button on the right-hand side, those 8 strips will become chord strips. And each of them is now containing 1 scale chord. And as I hold my finger on the strip, the chords will be sustaining, like on a piano. This allows me to come up with very nice chord progressions. This works well with these traditional plucky bell sounds, but if I go to a reactor round synthesizer, I still cannot process it. It's insane. These Detroit synths that just came out of nothing by using the strips. And we can even think more outside of the box. There is a complete control Evolve R2. It's loaded up with a lot of cinematic effect samples. And it allows me to come up with new musical gestures that I wouldn't have thought of before. I wouldn't sit down on a piano and then roll my fingers over the piano or go to a machine and slide over the silicon pads. But the strips are very inviting to come up with these new forms and new melodies and new ways of expressing yourself musically. So that's it. That's Machine Jam in a nutshell. Of course, there's much more to explore. There's a randomizer in there. There's a humanizer built in. And Machine Jam also comes with a huge collection of sounds. Machine Factory Library, 8 GB, complete select, drum synths. It goes on forever. So that's Machine Jam. Thank you for your attention.